All right, so today's topic is experiential marketing in an all digital world. This is the rough agenda for us today. We're going to do the welcome and introduction of our speakers, and then the speakers will deliver their presentation, and we will have a Q&A session at the end. So if you have questions during the presentation, please add them to the Q&A session. Real quick, for those of you that are new, what is the point of this group? So, powered by NC Biotech, this group brings together life sciences professionals to address challenges that marketers face through educational programming and build a strong support network for sharing insights and expertise. And with that, I will introduce our speakers for today. We have Julie, the Vice President of Client Solutions at Sequence, and she provides strategic insight and direction for marketing, partnerships, and business development initiatives. Julie leverages her expertise to enhance brand awareness and reputation. We also have Janet, a senior marketing specialist for Sequence. She leads the social media efforts, manages company swag, and organizes everything from team building events to memorable client experiences. Janet enjoys finding creative solutions to challenges and supporting her team's success. And with that, I will hand it off to you two.
All right, thank you. All right. Hello. Oh, there we go. We're Teams people over here. All right. So thank you so much, Patrick. We are so excited to be here. Um, so let's talk about experiential marketing. So, what is experiential marketing? This is the definition that is the strictest sense of the word of what experiential marketing means. Basically, it's all about creating unique, memorable, and engaging experience for your customers. It doesn't need to be only strictly event focused. We take this a whole nother level and can put this throughout all of our marketing strategy here at Sequence. So what's the value of experiential marketing? Why do you even need to be concerned or thinking about it? Probably the biggest reason from our perspective is to break through digital clutter. I don't know about you, but it is overwhelming the amount of digital ads and all the different things that are hitting your inbox. You want to connect with people on an emotional level. So getting that emotional response to the marketing that you're putting out there is going to create that connection. Creating memorable experiences. This example that you see here on the right is kind of an extreme one. This is a golf tournament that we regularly participate in for ISPE. So each year we kind of amp up the experience people are going to have when they come to our sponsorship hole. You're going to create a differentiator for your brand. We're now known for having, like fun experiences. When people interact with our brand, they're going to know that it's not only going to be fun, but it's going to be memorable. Um, perceived higher value. You can do a lot of different fun things, but then you also obviously have a serious side to your marketing. So through the different ways that you leverage the marketing that you're putting out there, you're going to have a higher value perception. And it's at the end of the day, it's all about building that human connection. Everything feels so disconnected almost these days that you really want to make sure that you're bonding with the people that you're marketing to. So this is our phrase that we use here at Sequence that we like use as kind of our motto. We know that people do business with people they like, know, and trust. So in today's presentation, these are the topics that we're planning to touch on. So we'll talk about branding, event experiences, how you can connect through unique relationship building experiences with your clients, co-marketing partnerships, and employee engagement, which is the same thing as culture. So let's talk about branding opportunities. So this slide is representative of one of the biggest initiatives that we've had here at Sequence. And so I thought this was a very relevant example to talk through the way that you can leverage your brand through. For instance, this was the new launch that we had for our branding. I came into Sequence, gosh, it's almost coming up on 5 years ago now. The first biggest initiative that the company needed was a whole new branding campaign, new website, core messaging update. So there was all that front end work that went into ensuring that we had the base level layer of all of the new redesign and everything that we needed. Then it was time to think about the launch. So the experience of the launch, we planned a holistic and targeted immersion in what our new branding journey was going to look like. So starting with the pre-teaser, which you see here on the right, like a few days before the launch date, we put that teaser out there so people could start to wonder what's going to be going on at Sequence. What are they talking about? Then it became launch day. It was a full coordinated effort. Everything from our employees wore new swag. They had our new branding. They were prepared with messaging in advance to know that our branding was out there. What did our new core messaging look like? All of that. The entire social media strategy. We leveraged all of these different channels of communication that we had available to us in order to make sure that if they didn't hear it one way, they heard it another. And it was just that concerted effort to get that awareness out there. In addition, it was a great opportunity to celebrate with our team. You can see down here, they all had on their new branded t-shirts. We had this, I don't remember the name of the food truck now, but it was tacos. So we had a big employee celebration. As a result of the campaign, we sustained a website traffic increase during the 2 week launch time period of 55.8%. So that was highly successful. So, as a part of the branding, I just wanted to touch on a couple of attention-grabbing tactics for consideration, things that are maybe just a little bit not always necessarily on the norm. So, this is what we did to bring out our new logo, kind of that transition from the old to the new, a way to capture attention. Here on the left, you can see we had this one of our employees, she was actually in our Northeast region. We had new colors for our branding. She painted her fingernails and is holding one of our newly designed cups. Up here on the right, direct mail is another important and attention-grabbing way that you can reach out to your customers. I don't know about you, but I kind of get excited when I get mail these days. I know I get excited when I get packages, but even just getting a package like a direct mail that's unexpected. So the idea behind the campaign here was, what would you do if you had more time and you were not having to do all the work yourself? So by hiring Sequence, maybe you have more time to cook with your spouse. So we put this chef's knife in that box that you can see on the right. Maybe you have time to go to the beach with your family. There's a beach ball. You have time to travel, a luggage tag. So there was a lovely brochure that we put in there, and it was just kind of an unexpected way to reach out to people. A couple of other tactics that we've used here at Sequence, we have a training facility that we leverage to train our team, and we're also training clients. Basically, it's a mock pharmaceutical manufacturing facility. So, as we considered, how did we really want to launch the fact that we have this capability, this training facility? And one of the ideas that came to us was, what if we did this really cool drone video where it was a fly through of the location? You can see it kind of did some cool like interactions with the equipment, that sort of thing. Hands down, it's probably our biggest marketing tactic that we use to really get the word out for our facility. Um, we had our 20th anniversary back in 2022. So we did a branding takeover for that year during the 20th anniversary. So our logo during that time frame, we updated it to keep that awareness out there of the fact that we had the 20th anniversary. So it was pretty cool. We were able to have this big employee launch party. So it was a ton of fun.
All right, so that brings us to swag. So just some different branding opportunities that we have. When it comes to our swag, we have learned that it's very important to invest in high quality, highly desirable swag. I think we've all been to those shows where you walk around and you see some of the same things. Pens, which are useful, don't Don't disregard those pins. But we want some things that are unique, things that are going to stand out. We want things that our clients and our employees are going to use and wear. So, one thing that we've done is we've cultivated kind of an ongoing brand excitement with a collectible series. And you can see one of these pictures. We have three different pairs of socks. And who knew that these were going to be a highly desirable swag item for us? But we do a different design every single year. It usually aligns with some type of event that we're doing. So when we talk about the details with our socks also aligns with some type of thematic event that we're doing. And we create that different design. What we found is we bring this to shows, we use it in our golf tournaments. And now we have clients and we have people that are reaching out asking for whatever the new design is going to be that year. So that has definitely created a buzz with our brand, and something that stands out. In fact, Julie and I were at a meeting not too long ago, and somebody that we didn't even really know found out we worked at Sequence, and he pulled up his pants leg and was wearing a pair of Sequence socks. So that was validation that, what we're doing with that piece of swag is definitely working. We also want to invest in high quality clothing. So certainly we want our consultants to be wearing the Sequence logo as much as humanly possible. So when it comes to our t-shirts, they're very soft. People want to wear them. They actually ask for them on the regular basis. You can see a group of our new consultants who are sporting some of their Sequence t-shirts there. And then we also have golf polos that are very high quality. So we have invested in both Johnny O and Peter Millar golf shirts. There's the ability to work with some of those vendors and get things at a more reduced cost. So that's definitely been very, very beneficial to us.
They're like $120 shirts. And if
Absolutely. Yeah,
so people want to wear them.
absolutely. It's a recognizable brand. So that leads us to our event experiences. We want all of our events to be fun. We definitely believe that relationship building and providing these fun experiences is going to bring more people in and make our brand more memorable. So one of our biggest events of the year is our Sequence Charity Golf Tournament. It's something that we've done for several years now. You can see in this graph at the top, when we started this in 2021, we raised just over $5,000. Now, part of that reason was the venue that we chose was further away from our clients, and for our partners, it was a little bit more difficult to get to. Plus, people just weren't as aware of, what a Sequence golf tournament was going to look like. Since that time, we have developed many, many different social media campaigns, and we've kind of tried to elevate that every single year and build on with what has worked and what we think people are going to want. So you can see in 2022, we shot way up to 34.6, and we are in the current planning process for our 2025 tournament. Our registration has been open for 2 weeks, and we are already over halfway sold out, and I think we're going to surpass our goal of $50,000. So the reason that this has been successful is we have made them fun. So we have fired up that engagement. We have really, really utilized our social media. We have direct mail campaigns to our clients, to our partners, and to our former registrants. We've also found that doing a unique theme gets people really engaged. So several years ago, we did a Halloween theme because it was around Halloween, obviously. Last year, we did a Caddyshack theme, and it was just something that people got really excited about because it was very, very different. And then one thing that we are big on is nailing those details. So, for example, when it came to the Caddyshack theme, we didn't just say it was a Caddyshack themed tournament. People dressed in Caddyshack costumes. We had gophers on the golf course. So, not real gophers, ceramic gophers, but so people had to hit their golf ball around the gopher. And it just became very, very memorable. This year, we're elevating it with a football theme. So, we're going to have tailgate games before the golf tournament even starts. So, nail those details. So, speaking of nailing the details, we definitely believe that people do business with people they like, know, and trust. And this is where we want to start all of our events. We want to cultivate those relationships so that our clients want to come back. It also makes our brand much, much, much more memorable. We are very, very fortunate to have the Sequence training facility. And as Julie shared, we are a mock pharmaceutical. We have a mock pharmaceutical lab where we do train our consultants on. But it also allows us the ability to invite clients and partners in to see exactly what we do here at Sequence. So they will do frequent tours. I think in the past 2.5 years, we've had probably about 250 tours to date.
Yes.
So it's been very, very busy. And you'll see in this bottom picture on the column with the sequence training facility, we also have this fabulous entertainment space. And that has definitely allowed us to develop more unique relationships. It's pretty fantastic when a client can come through for a tour and end up at a full bar, grab a beer, listen to some live music because we do have a stage and a resident musician, play on the golf simulator. So it's someplace that people ask to come back and visit. When it comes to industry shows and events, we want to make that stand out as well. So when we go to the Boston Product Show, for example, we host a half-day hospitality suite, but we don't do any type of presentation. It is simply come on in, develop those relationships, listen to some live music, have a beer, have a cocktail, and hopefully they've had a great time. I think they do because our room is usually standing room only, and people are asking to come back the next year.
We do have the
Um,
video playing on the screen that naturally, and it kind of is a highlight
yes.
reel of the things that we've done during the course of the year. But if they see it, they ask questions. But if they
Mhm.
don't, they're just there to have a good time.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Or even things like finding a fun rooftop bar. We did this after the Casa Tech show this year, and we invited some clients to come out for appetizers and drinks at a rooftop bar. So it was just something unique and different. We also try to cultivate unique experiences for our clients, things that you wouldn't typically go to. Concerts. We took a group to the US Open last year and then a group to the PGA Championship in Charlotte this year. And when we take groups, we want it to be the whole experience. So we've rented Sprinter vans, we've had signature cocktails, we've sung karaoke in the van. We have found that live music definitely intertwines in just about everything we do here at Sequence. So people have come to expect it. But we have found that having those unique relationships and those experiences has led to really building that level of trust. And they want to come back. We've done a pig picking up in our Boston area, and what made that unique is that they don't have pig pickings typically in Boston. So people really wanted to come out and they wanted to experience what a Southern pig picking is actually like. I mean, it's now something they ask for us to come and do every single summer. Recently here we did a Kentucky Cocktail Classic where we partnered with another company and we did everything Kentucky Derby, the food, the cocktails, the dress. So again, just very memorable experiences.
All right. So, co-marketing with your partners or co-marketing with another company, even if they aren't a partner, is another great way to create greater brand awareness and generate exposure to new audiences. Here at Sequence, we are fortunate to have a lot of partners that we do actually partner with. So one of the benefits of that, as I stated, is that you get that third-party validation, that word of mouth marketing when your partners are invested in being a part of your business together, like for instance, this Brooks instrument, Brooks and Cross that you see down below, they created that display case for some of their pieces of equipment that they wanted to have showcased here in our training facility. So when we give people a tour, they see that Brooks and Cross instrument there, and it's good for them and it's good for us, kind of thing. Um, we most recently announced the partnership for two new software partners, so SCW AI and Azon. Azon is an AI partner. The amount of interest and traction that we're receiving because of those partnerships, everybody, as you know, is talking about AI these days. So what does that partnership look like? What does it mean? Why is Sequence partnered with Azon? But one thing that I really appreciate about it from a marketing perspective is that it helps by sharing resources. So they help, everything from drafting the media release to getting everything posted and coordinated so that it's an effort from both sides to get the word out so that the experience of announcement of that partnership is really out there and it's as loud and as positive as possible. Um, our experience by becoming associated with the brands elevates our brand perception. As I said, people want to know, like, Wow, sequences, we are busy. We're very busy. So by seeing these posts and seeing these announcements, it's really kind of generating that brand awareness and elevating our perception. One of the new things that we've done, or we put a higher focus on this year, is putting together client education events. This is a tactic that we're using this year to educate our clients. It's not a sales pitch. What we're doing is we're finding partners that we want to collaborate with on these highly relevant events that are solving a pain point for our clients. So this FDA investigation event that you're seeing over here on the right, that is Nancy Singer. She works for the FDA, and she is the person that goes out and trains the FDA investigators. Well, she came to our facility, and we invited all of our clients. You can see this is our training room, where we are fortunate to have, this lovely setup for these type of events. And it was great. So Sequence was able, we got up, did a 5-minute little intro, dot compliance, and then Nancy took the stage. And it was really all about giving back to our clients. And then when we were done, we walked right next door into our networking and entertainment area. So it was really a high value event for not only us, but especially our clients that didn't come through as a sales pitch.
Right. So let's talk employee engagement. We know that if we have happy employees, they're also going to communicate our brand in a very, very positive manner. So we want to engage our employees in more than just the day-to-day job. So one way that we do this is we do have a Sequence Life newsletter that goes out every week. This has been crucial, especially since we have teams in the Northeast and here in the Southeast. So we don't get to see our consultants on a regular basis, and they're also out on client sites. So it's just kind of a way to bring everybody together. And we do this with not just industry or company news, but we also do personal events in our newsletter, announcements of babies, engagements, weddings. Excuse me. Take a drink of water. So these are things that people want to hear about. We also realize that increased employee engagement equals more productivity and improved employer retention, stronger employer brand. I might need you to take over because I'm going to cough.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Um, so there again, employee culture is hugely important and valuable here at Sequence, primarily from the perspective of no matter what company you're in, your employees, if you're a global organization, they're all over the world. Like in our case, we put our consultants on client sites, which means there are disparate groups of our team that maybe, we are not all together all the time. So this is one way that we really put in a lot of effort to make sure that they are a part of the Sequence team, that they feel included. And as Janet said, like the happier they are, the better they're going to take care of our customers. So we know that. And Janet, I'm going to let you jump back in on all these event ideas. Yes.
Sorry about that. Yes, so we do lots and lots of different events. As we showed you earlier, those were some of the events that take a lot more preparation. What I'm going to talk about here, sometimes they're just very, very organic. They're very inexpensive, but they're great ways to engage our employees. So one way that we do that is we have sports teams. Most of the time, that's not something that we organize. Our consultants just enjoy being together. So they've organized basketball teams, soccer teams, volleyball teams. In fact, this picture showcases one of our teams here in the Raleigh area, and they even designed their own basketball jerseys. So again, it's elevating that brand perception. We have monthly coffee chats where we mentor some of our newer consultants. In fact, we had one this morning. So we all went outside, we braved the heat, we had a coffee truck out there. We got everybody nice and caffeinated first thing in the morning, but then we were also just able to catch up on how everybody is doing personally and professionally. So it's a great monthly event. The eclipse party was actually one of my favorites because that was something that came up kind of spur of the moment. We knew there was going to be a solar eclipse, but we just decided that we were going to do something special that day. So we ordered the glasses for everyone. We had those delivered. We had moon pies and we had Star Crunch, and we created a special playlist with all eclipse themed songs. And everybody went outside and they just watched the solar eclipse together. I think my favorite moment was when they played Total Eclipse of the Heart. And all of a sudden, everybody just started spinning around to the song. So it was definitely memorable and something that everybody really enjoyed. We also believe that professional development and continuous education is very, very crucial. And so we provide education seminars several times a month for employees who might be taking a little break from a client site. They might be in between projects. So they're able to come back and they're able to add to that repertoire that they are going to use in the future. We have holiday parties both in our Northeast and Southeast. This past year, we had a casino themed party. So we had a rental company come in and bring the casino tables, and everybody just had a great time. And then we also do a lot of volunteer opportunities here at Sequence. A lot of times, those opportunities come from our employees. So it's not something that we just cultivate. We want what people are interested in. And that has proven to really help to develop that company culture. So social media. Your social media should be a reflection of the experience that your clients can expect when working with you or for you. We have found this to be one of the most powerful tools that we use. We do use several different platforms. We use LinkedIn, we use Instagram, and we use Facebook. We have found that our culture posts do best on Facebook and Instagram, also on LinkedIn, but our business style posts don't do quite as well on Insta and Facebook. We also believe that we should work smarter and not harder. So at the beginning of every month, you'll see in this calendar at the top, we have a content calendar. And so we sit down and we really plan out what type of content we want to showcase throughout the month. And this eliminates that day-to-day need of, oh my goodness gracious, what am I going to post today? We also want those to be very diverse. So we don't want everything to be business oriented. We want them to see that relationship piece as well. So we do culture posts, we do our charity posts, we do our business development. We do training posts, and then any type of special event like the golf tournament, we do posts related to that. Thinking about our LinkedIn followers, you'll see on this graph that in 2021, we had just over 3,000 followers. But fast forward to today, we are pushing 7,000 followers. And we think that that is a result of just the consistency piece that we've seen, and then those diversified posts. One thing that was really interesting to us, we do collect data on every single posting that we utilize, but I was looking at those individually. And once I started like really totaling up the impressions on specific posts and dividing that between the number of, let's say, culture posts we had, we found that we had a very, very balanced graph as far as our impressions. So that's definitely what we would like to see.
I think too, Janet, one thing that you've done, you've really leveraged this year that is powerful is the scheduling.
Yes.
So I talk about that real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So typically on Fridays, and that's typically when I do it, I sit down and I dedicate quite a bit of time to our social media posts for the following week. I don't ever post on Friday unless it's something very special, maybe a holiday or something like that. Simply because those Friday posts, the data is just not there that it's getting as many impressions. So on Fridays, I sit down, I create the post for the following week, and I go ahead and schedule those. So once Monday hits, they're automatically popping up, and I'm not thinking about it until Friday, which has been absolutely fantastic.
I dare say we're a little bit ahead of schedule when we went through the, so hopefully we have some questions after this, but just in conclusion on this topic, wanted to talk through just what are some of the key takeaways from some of the things that we've shared today. Really, when it comes to experiential marketing, an immersive approach is best for big announcements. If you're leveraging all of those different channels, you're going to reach your audience across all of those different ways. You're going to catch them one way or another, or they're going to hear it all. They say that you have to hear a message, what is it, like 3 times or whatever the number of times, it's a lot. But if that repetition is there, they will get the message. Paying attention to the details is critical. If you want to have a memorable event and have it to be a great experience for the people and a lasting impression, you want to make sure that all of those details are buttoned up, that you're thinking of those unexpected elements that will make the experience that much more memorable.
But also think outside the box.
Yes.
Don't just necessarily follow the norm. do something different and just test out the waters and see how
And
people
we're
react.
constantly
Mhm.
morphing and changing every year that we have, especially if it's annual events.
Mhm.
Every time that you do it, you don't want it to be the same event over and over again. What can you do to elevate that experience or alter that
Mhm.
experience um, each time so that there's something new that they're going to be impressed by
Yeah.
and take away? Again, those long-lasting client relationships, thinking through what are the unexpected experiences or events. You don't need to have a huge budget. It didn't wasn't free, obviously not free, but it wasn't cheap to go to the US Open. But
Mhm.
my goodness, we got so much goodwill with the high-level clients that we took to that experience, and they remember it
Mhm.
and think about sequence first. Um, Co-marketing, partnerships, reach that wider audience, share resources and costs. It's going to enhance your brand credibility and trust. Can't say enough great things about working together. And thank you to NC Biotech for inviting us here
Mhm.
today, for instance. And then employee engagement, that culture piece is huge.
Mhm.
If your employees are happy, they are going to take care of your customers. They say it all the time, so it's just too important to ignore. And again, I know we've had this thread running through this entire presentation, but firmly believe that people do business with people they like, know, and trust. So the more you can do to engage and create memorable experiences, the more likely they are to come back to you and think of you first for the service or whatever you provide. All right. So in conclusion, we're going to take some questions here. Do you want me to stop sharing, Patrick? Would that be, or do you want me
Yeah,
to
you
leave
can
that on
do
there for a
that.
bit?
You can leave that up for a minute or
Okay.
two if you want.
Okay.
Thank you for the great presentation. That was very valuable information that you shared. So much appreciated. If anyone from the audience has any questions, please add them to the Q&A now.
I would
And
also love to hear what people like experience or things
Mhm.
that they've done that might
Yeah.
be a little bit different from some of what we've shared.
and I do have one question as well. What tools or tactics do you deploy to measure the client or employee satisfaction?
Great question. So we have done employee surveys in the past. I think it was in 2022, we actually did the Great Place to Work survey with our employees and achieved that certification for that year. It's an annual survey that you can send out. We also have a lot of, we have employee, like when they leave, if like you have that turnover when they leave, they give us a survey, but we also have conversations about the employees that stay. Why do you like working at Sequence? What is it about working here that you enjoy? When it comes to the client side of things, that gets a little bit tougher. We have sent surveys out in the past. We use like a Microsoft Forms link a lot of the time. Seems to work pretty well. We have also in the past engaged a survey company. That gets to be a lot more pricey. But it's really just trying to gauge and understand, what that brand perception is. Um, can't like again, it can be difficult to capture, but I think what we do know is that we're hearing it directly from our clients. We also have direct solicitate, not solicitation, but like when our teams have monthly meetings with our clients, one of the things that they talk about is how is the team performing, and we're regularly receiving client testimonials.
I have a
Excellent.
question as well.
Okay.
So how often do you huddle and see what's working, what's not working, if you need to do a refresh with this, whether it's your content or your overall strategy, how often are you checking in to see what can be, tweaked in certain areas?
So we actually meet on a very regular basis. Julie and I, for example, I mean, we talk all day long because we're sitting right next to each other. So we're constantly bouncing ideas off of one another and talking about what worked and what did not work. But she and I also formally sit down once a week and we go over what we did the previous week, what the goals are for the following week, and we kind of analyze that way. We also get together with our own team, like our business development and our marketing team biweekly. And so we're able to kind of dissect all of this information biweekly with our teams. We set goals for the next upcoming, couple weeks. And
I
then,
will say, yeah, like one of the most important things that we do, it's a big investment when you go to some of these trade shows, for
mm,
instance. We've implemented a strategy now. I mean, you always do the debrief after
yeah,
every event. We've taken some events off. We're not getting the ROI from it. Like we are capturing what leads are, or what level of client interaction, what leads are we getting? What does that look like? And if
mhm,
it's not working, is there something we can change about our strategy for that event, or is it even worth
yeah.
doing any longer? When it comes to things like our messaging, I mentioned that we'd had that big brand launch back in 2021. Guess what? Fast forward 4 years, it's time to refresh the website again. We're currently in the process of doing that. And like an update to our website is underway as we speak. Just knowing like the business changes, it
Mhm.
transitions, transforms a bit. So yeah, we're always watching that and listening to what the clients are looking for and adjusting.
Nice. One more on my end. I don't know if anybody wants to jump in the chat, but do you have any favorite tools or platforms that you use just for, whether it's the content creation or the scheduling or just workflows, any favorites or ones you want to suggest to our audience?
Talking about HubSpot.
Oh, yes. So we do utilize HubSpot here at Sequence. We use that for our newsletters. We keep our contacts in here. We use that to correspond with our employees, but also with our clients. So we constantly have that ongoing record. HubSpot has also been very instrumental in looking at who's actually looking at our content. So when it comes to our newsletter, we can see the open rate. We can tell how many people have skimmed it versus actually read it. We can see what links are being clicked on. So it's a very, very useful data collection tool for us.
Yeah, and same for client. We have a quarterly newsletter that we send out, and with that, we're also able to track and understand like what is the engagement. So that's been really helpful and powerful. LinkedIn, I mean, I can't say enough
Oh,
great things about the analytics on
yes.
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And with Janet utilizing that scheduling tool there, that's been
Mhm.
amazing. Um, yeah, so those are some of the big primary ones.
See one question in the chat. It says, what are the most common mistakes brands make in digital marketing?
Mm.
Um, I mean, to me, I think digital marketing, I, I don't know, I'm struggling a little bit with this one. We do have a pretty good digital marketing strategy, but we don't sell products. We sell services. So we're selling the people and we're in a very niche market. So for us, it's a little bit challenging from that regard, but I think not utilizing things like the geo tracking, the way that you can target your market specifically. If you're spending too much money on, you know, sending your digital marketing out, if it's not hitting the right audience, that's a big no-no. Um, Try different tactics.
Mhm.
One thing that we did, for instance, during our launch, it can be very expensive, but I assume a lot of the people on this call probably are familiar with Fierce Pharma. We sent a campaign out through Fierce Pharma as part of our big brand launch. Let's see what happens. And they're able to track and give you that geo-targeted message that goes out. It's incredibly expensive though. So track the ROI that you're getting from a campaign like that, and then understand, am I reaching the audience? Am I getting a return? Maybe my message that I used, that I deployed through that method wasn't the right one for the audience. I mean, we had an okay take on it, but it could have been more powerful. It's also such a hefty investment that we get more money through alternative methods.
And it looks like a hand is raised. Carolyn, do you want to put your question in the chat? I don't know if that was an accident or not. Maybe it was an error.
You know what, while we're waiting, one thing I thought of, we were trying to keep it focused on experiential marketing, but since we're talking about ROI and tracking things, having those KPIs that you are utilizing to measure the performance of your marketing cannot say enough things about how important that is. We not only track of course, we track the performance of our website, but if you're working with a good SEO provider, for your website, that can change things dramatically for you. When we first launched our new website, we did not have a great SEO plan in place. I am not an SEO expert. We went out, we found and sourced a vendor that is an expert in SEO. And now on a monthly basis, that company is able to support us and help us understand how we're tracking, how is our ranking, what are the things that we can adjust. In addition to that, they're tracking like events for us. And what that means is that when you can determine what you want to be considered an event for your website, and Google Analytics will help you track and understand all of that. So in our case, an event is one where people stay on our website for a certain period of time. Another event that we're tracking is how many form submissions we receive through the Contact Us form, some things like that. Um, Other KPIs. What are some other KPIs? I'm like blanking as I'm talking here off the top of my head. But again, like if you want to prove the value that marketing is bringing to your organization, understanding what metrics are most important that you're trying to track, is it sales of a product? Is it moving the needle on the number of new leads in your funnel, that sort of thing. Keeping very good records and of all of that is going to help sell the value of that marketing that you're doing for your organization.
Thanks, Julie. And it looks like we have another question that says, do you have a reliable source for finding good swag items outside of apparel?
We do. One thing that we do spend some time doing when we do go to other shows is we walk around and we see what other people have. But we've been very fortunate that we have a fantastic swag vendor. And so he's constantly bringing us new and different samples that we can touch and feel, which I can't stress enough the importance of being able to actually get your hands on your swag before you order it, because there is a definitive difference between items. We think about things that we would want. If we're at a specific event, what are some things that we would actually want and use? When it comes to our socks, for example, when the golf tournament, they're golf style socks. So we know people are going to use
Yeah,
those.
they're
And
like thicker athletic
yeah.
socks. They're not those thin, like weird knit, shiny, like polyester kind. These are like nice athletic style
Absolutely.
socks.
And they also travel well. So we can take those to different shows and we can know that it's really super easy for somebody to stick those in their suitcase and they've taken home a little bit of the Sequence brand with them. So I would just say,
We went to like talk about Johnny O, your connection. How are you connected with Johnny O?
yeah. So, if you start looking into if there's a specific brand that you're interested in and you look into their corporate accounts, you will get a plethora of different contacts. Fortunately, I was able to get in touch with the Johnny O contact through somebody that I knew at one of the local golf courses. So they utilized this vendor. I was able to get in touch with my friend who worked there. She passed along a name. So if you have people in your network, utilize them. A lot of times they have really, really good referrals that they can make for you.
Did you set up a business account?
I did, yes. So
Yeah.
we set up a business account.
So I think anyone could approach Johnny O, and we can share that
Yes.
contact and connection.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of the fun things is that they're located right here in Raleigh. So you get to go to the showroom and you get to see things and touch things and pick things out, which is tons of fun.
And one other point that I'll make is there are like smaller swag providers out there.
Mhm.
The one that we work with, it's called Proforma, and we can share all of this information with Patrick and Adrian and get it out to everybody. But Proforma is like a nationwide
Mhm.
provider of swag. And what's great about it is that they get like lower prices because they're buying at such high volume.
Yes.
So you can get some really nice things for a lesser price, which is great.
And I will also add that one thing we do with our swag that I meant to mention earlier is we have a swag store here at Sequence, and we open this up maybe once or twice a year, but we allow our employees to vocalize what they're actually wanting and looking for. So about 2 months ago, I put something out in the newsletter, and it was just a forms like, what would you like to see as far as Sequence swag? What would your price point be that you're willing to pay? And so we categorized all of that information, and from that, we selected the items that we're going to have in our upcoming swag store. And it is our smaller swag vendor who's putting this together for us. So it's really nice to have that personal connection because I can just call him up on the phone. He sent
Well, he's the
samples.
big national, but
Yes.
he's the local franchise of
Yeah.
that national vendor. Yeah.
Yes, but he sent samples, so we were able
Mhm.
again to touch it and feel it and make sure that it's going to be that high quality swag that we know that our employees would like to have.
And here's what's so great about it. um, you can either offer your employees an incentive, say you put $25 in an account for them. That's enough to get them in
Mhm.
to look at the swag, to put in an order. They can use their own credit card to buy the items. But now this time around, we're doing like it's a total just-in-time
Mhm.
inventory situation. So you're not investing ahead of time in buying what you think people might want. They're literally putting in, I want the purple t-shirt in size large, put it in my cart. I want the pink polo, size medium, put it in my cart. And then they're buying it. And we're only ordering exactly
What we
what
need.
yep.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
not investing a ton in over too much inventory.
Excellent. It looks like all of our questions have been answered. So thank you very much for that. And we will be uploading this recording to our website. You can either scan the QR code on the screen or go to ncbiotech.org/life science marketing group. And we will be taking a break over the summer months and returning in the fall. So stay tuned for more emails and announcements on social media.
Awesome.
And thanks
Thank you so
again.
much
Thank
for
you
your
for having
time.
us.
Really appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Yeah.